To set up a game of Shell Beach, the first thing you're going to do is make sure you have a number of colors of tokens equal to the number of players. This is going to be a 3-player game, so we'll go ahead and remove all but 3 colors. If you're doing this with the deluxe version, the tokens will actually be shells, and as you can see they look very different, so you'll just remove a number of types. The next thing you're going to do is give each player a crab character card, which has some nice artwork and handy reference text. This is also where you're going to keep track of what home shell you're currently in. These can be chosen or selected at random. Just give 1 to each player. Lastly, you will hand the deck of cards to whichever player was last at the beach, and they will be the first dealer. Every round in Shell Beach consists of 2 phases, a market phase and a collection phase. To begin the market phase, the player who is the dealer will take the deck and shuffle it up, which these already are, and then deal 5 cards to each player. Next, the dealer will form the beach by placing the appropriate number of cards into the middle of the table. The dealer will also take the first turn in every market phase. In the market turn, you simply choose 1 card to take from the beach into your hand, and you may choose 1 card from the discard pile to put in your hand as well. The discard pile is currently empty. And I think our dealer is going to take this small shell here. After you've drawn your cards, you will then discard down to 5. I currently am holding 6, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this 2. Play then proceeds counterclockwise. So as you can see in your hand, you have the 5, 6, 7, and 8. This would be the beginnings of a very nice straight, but you can't collect a straight because no player currently has any home shell. In the first round, everybody will only be able to score pairs. So let's go ahead and take this 6 to go with our other 6, and we can get rid of this 8. The next player decides that she would like this 2 that's in the discard pile. So she'll take that for hers from the discard pile, and then the 4, perhaps, from the middle. Since she now has 7 cards in hand, she'll have to discard 2. So she'll go ahead and get rid of this 9 and this 6. Our dealer has taken a liking to this 8, and will take this 3 as well and immediately discard it, because I have no use for it. I'll also get rid of this other card. As we can see, none of the cards in the discard help us yet either, and either of these are just as good for us. So we'll go ahead and just take 1 and discard it immediately. Stay pat with our hand. And lastly, this player will take this 4 and this 9 and discard the 9 immediately, along with this large shell. Since the beach is now currently empty, the dealer begins the market phase. A turn in the market phase consists of 2 steps. You'll score your sets, and then you will play your cards for any effects they might have. It seems like the dealer has only managed to collect 1 set, which it says is worth 1 point. Our dealer also has a small home shell. The small, medium, and large shells can be turned in as normal parts of sets, but they're also big enough for the crabs to live in by simply placing it behind your crab character card. Now this player can collect pairs and 3 of a kind in the next round. The bigger your shell gets, the better sets you'll have access to. Remaining cards in the player's hand are simply discarded. And it appears we've done just about the same thing. And these 6s are worth 1 point, and managed to save up a small home shell. Our third player seems has fared a little bit better and collected 2 pairs for 2 points, but the only card left over is a medium shell, which she cannot move into because she doesn't have a small shell. You have to move into every shell in ascending order. Cards in the discard pile are shuffled back into the deck, and the player to the dealer's left becomes the dealer for the new round. The only cards that cannot be played as part of any set are these magic seashells, of which there are 4 in the deck. The effect of the magic seashell is to force another player to move out of their home shell. So let's say this player has collected a pair of 4s, for which she'll receive 1 point, and plays a magic seashell, affecting this player. Then what will happen is, this small home shell then gets offered to this player who can move into it and take it over. This is the simplest way to use a magic seashell as part of a basic shell exchange. A shell exchange will occur anytime a player leaves their old home shell. Let's say this player would like to upgrade to a medium. They will simply take the small and immediately move into the medium. The small is then placed in the middle and offered to the player to the left. This player then chooses to pass. The small shell then is offered to you, which, having no home shell and no tricks up your sleeve, you probably would take. On this player's turn, they will then move into a small shell themselves. After that, they decide to play a magic seashell to force this player out of the medium that they just moved into. This will then begin a new shell exchange, benefiting this player with a new medium shell, whose old small shell is then offered to you, and then offered over here, where it is happily accepted. And this player isn't done yet. They decide on their turn to also move into a large that they also had in their hand. The medium that they just stole will then be offered to you, which you are now eligible to move into. This small is unwanted by anybody, and so it's discarded as normal. In the final round, scoring will occur as normal, except the market will run out of tokens. Let's say this player was the dealer. Being in a medium shell, they could collect pairs, 3 of a kind, or straights, but only managed to find their way into 2 small pairs. This player here in the large shell took full advantage and managed to collect a flush for a cool 4 points. 3 are taken out of the market, and then 1 is given from the deck as credit for the next season. This also signals that this will be the last round of the game. On your final turn, being in a medium shell, you've also taken full advantage and managed to collect a straight. For that straight, you will be given 3 cards as points. Each player's tokens plus cards given in the final round are added together, and the player with the highest total wins. Players in a large shell have one option that no other players have, which is that instead of playing the magic seashells as normal to force another player out of their shell, they can simply destroy them by removing them from the game entirely. If all 4 magic seashells are ever removed from the game is over immediately and scoring takes place. Ending the game this way is very difficult, but can provide for some memorable wins. And that's how you play Shell Beach. Be sure to check us out on Kickstarter.